Hello and welcome to Virtue Gaming. I am Robbie Bobby Basing, joined by my co-caster here tonight.
Thousand Eyes.
And tonight we have a great match. We have Unified Masters League round one playoff. So it's a best of three format in between Virtue Gaming Ambition and University of Ottawa Garnet. And we're already in draft, so we see bands coming out already. What do you think about what we have so far, Thousand Eyes?
Not super surprised by a good bit of these. Silas has been very, very popular over the last couple of patches. GP, Seraphine have been high priority picks. But with all that said, Zeri is up and available and is also one of the high priority AD carries that has been popular for the last couple of patches. Do want to specify that there will not be any Nyla being picked here. That is off the table, off the board. And we will we will not be seeing that. Wukong though, despite the nerfs being picked up.
Yeah, I think this area is very interesting because there's a potential we do see a flex into the middle lane and going that AP build. Still most likely going to be an ADC's area just based off of players' histories and what we've seen from them. So still going to expect that. And Aphelios taken on the other side, very standard ADC pick, does work well into this area due to the matching of the scaling and also their range and lane works out to Aphelios' advantage.
I mean, already we're looking at Ottawa that seems to be going for a more front-to-back style of team composition. When you see the Wukong and an AD carry that does not have any kind of repositioning, you're probably expecting some decent front line alongside Aphelios and maybe a half kind of supportive, half kind of damagey mid laner. The Ahri would have been a great matchup with that, but regardless, you're looking more front-to-back. Meanwhile, Virtue, they go for the Yubi Zeri. They're just going for that pick style. They want to be able to get in and out of fights, skirmish people hard, and the Udyr is going to be great at that.
I was about to say Virtue Gaming really needs an early to mid lane transition or mid to late game transition. That is what Udyr can service as because right now Virtue Gaming has the late game advantage. Zeri Yuumi is going to be a lot stronger. Aphelios is the 200 years champion, but Zeri Yuumi is another beast in the late game. So yeah, I like the Udyr pickup here is great.
I mean, Aphelios might be the 200 years champion, but Udyr is the one where you can walk up and slap people and they have to stand still for a couple of seconds. So I don't know. I like the simplicity. Udyr, I think, is a very, very good champion. He gets extremely, extremely beefy in very much so comparatively to a lot of other junglers that fit his style. So I like the Udyr pickup. The Pantheon is interesting here because I'm not really familiar with a lot of Pantheon being played in any kind of competitive. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I'm going to try and check quick.
I would be assuming this is Pantheon support.
I believe it is because I see a lot of support for Sprinkler. So this seems there are a lot of support Pantheon specifically.
Yeah. This is looking for a lot of those just point and click CC on this area. Unfortunately, the point and click CC is flashable.
Now, it's also point and click CC for the Yuumi, which stops her from being able to attach to this area. So I think Pantheon is a very good pickup into the Yuumi. I worry about the late game scaling though, because you're losing out on a lot of capability to give this Aphelios that front line when you do run the Pantheon. But that said, picks like Pantheon, I like to go Alistar against Yuumi because you just flash WQ, boom, she gets knocked up in the air and she's stuck off a champion for 5 seconds, which is a long, long time when you're as squishy as Yuumi is.
Talking about late game scaling, we see in second phase of bans 3 good late game champions right now. Victor, Azir, and Mikhail, all scaling mid laners taken off the board by both teams. It got a little bit more of a target ban towards VG's top laner. So we're going to have to see what mid lane adapts here because both teams really do need a late game. VG can opt into an earlier game, but okay,
there you go.
Great.
There you go. There's your mid to late game. Swain just and it works also well too because uOttawa needs that front line and Pantheon isn't going to be able to do it. Now your mid laner can actually do a bit of it, so it adds to that front line capability that you were losing by going the aggressive support champion. This is a nice little shift in the composition to allow them to still make it work despite going for that more aggression in the bot side here. I like this pickup a lot.
The only problem I do see with the University of Ottawa's composition right now is that if they are behind in the game, it's very hard for them to do anything. University of Ottawa very much needs to be ahead, and when they are ahead, they will be significantly stronger. But from behind, their composition is lacking damage. And on the side of Virtue Gaming, we have a Yone pickup, which those continues to go along with the theme of the composition, to play towards that scaling, towards that later stages of the game with that Zeri and with that Yuumi. And now probably going to go for an earlier top laner here. Gwen also.
Gwen also works. Gwen, I think, is a pretty solid blind pick as well, because you're looking here and you're not sure exactly what you're going to be going up against. Gwen obviously can go immune, doesn't have to worry about a lot of issues. If she's getting ganked, pushes W, runs away, it's easy. The Swain into Yone matchup is going to be interesting, because that's kind of a early game. Neither of these champs are really going to be doing any damage. And then you hit that mid game and Yone becomes kind of just a threat in general. Swain, on the other hand, kind of becomes very ulti dependent. For people who have not seen him much since his rework, he has become extremely dependent on having that ultimate up and staying in a fight as long as possible. And I feel like Ottawa needs to get into team fights as soon as possible, full 4v4, 5v5 team fights. If VGA are able to get those skirmishes, make use of the mobility of the Yone, Zeri, Gwen, that's going to be a problem that Ottawa don't have an answer for.
Yeah, right now, just looking at these compositions, I am a bit concerned, though, for this Ottawa composition, because they have to be operating from ahead. Their late game isn't the best. They don't have a lot of wombo structure. They're very reliant on VG walking into them, which isn't a big concern, because VG will be walking in for the most part. They're playing the Yu, they're playing the Yone, they're playing the Gwen, all champions who want to go in and don't have good disengage. The only real disengage on VG is Yuumi. So when we're talking about late game team fighting, Ottawa sort of did pick that well, but their engage is lacking. I'm going with VG for draft advantage here.
I am kind of in between here, because I do agree with you. VG definitely have that really strong kind of mid-game skirmish style, and it's really going to be dependent on Ottawa understanding that and playing around that, recognizing that, hey, we can't leave Aphelios alone. He will die. We can't burn our Swain ultimate in solo fights. We need to have it for a team fight, and making that happen. I do like, however, they have multiple options to deal with this Yuumi, and that's going to be a big problem, because if Yuumi can't stay on Udyr, Yuumi is not, like, Udyr then loses a lot of that ability to tank. Here you've got the Mordekaiser ult. He could just yank the Yuumi away and take all her stats, kill her very easily, and then pop back out with extra stats. The Pantheon we already talked about, so there's a lot of different chances here to really force Yuumi to be not a factor in this, and I love that, especially when you do have just something that is as tanky or is kind of requiring that extra boost, like the Yone or the Zeri.
Yeah, when talking about the Yuumi, there is a good chance with this VG composition that Yuumi doesn't actually need to get off anyone in these fights, just depending on the game state with Zeri, Yone, and Gwen.
Exactly.
She does have the option to just sit on one of these champions, where some of those counters, well, you still have the Mordekaiser ultimate. That's the biggest thing when you're talking about countering Yuumi. Mordekaiser is one of the best counters, because it does get rid of that attachment target. Now, I don't think they'll be using it in that manner, but that's always
I mean, it's possible. It kind of depends. If it's on somebody important and Pantheon is there, there's nothing Yuumi can do there.
And most of these team fights, Mordekaiser and Pantheon should be playing together. Most of this game, Mordekaiser, Pantheon should be playing together.
Yep, absolutely.
Those are the focal points they have. Probably the most advantageous. The Swain's a bit stuck on the water here.
I agree in some senses, but at the same time, you look at these champions that you're going up against, Yone, Gwen, Udyr, they're all very, very short-range champions that want to run around in a fight. Swain could just position himself in the middle of that fight and be a frontliner, give that tankiness that they don't inherently have, and make sure that the fight keeps going long enough that Aphelios' damage becomes a problem. I do agree with you that overall, their damage structure, it is very Aphelios-focused, but when Swain has that ultimate up, he has that ability to be tanky enough that Aphelios can do his job. It's really just kind of, can they make that happen? Can that front to back actually work for Ottawa? Or is there going to be enough flanking potential that VGA can take advantage of?
Yeah, I think that's a great point on the Swain. I really hope they do take Ghost also as a tech we've seen on Swain, the Flash Ghost. I think it may be a little bit beneficial.
I will be watching. I will be watching to see. I know that kind of the more tanky Rylai's Rush Swain has become a little bit more of a popular thing, just kind of going not for damage, but utility. You buy the Rylai's immediately, pop ult, everybody stuck in your ult, slowed, and then you go for, more tanky style things here. I think they need the damage, especially if Swain starts getting fed. You want to just go into the damage. But I have legitimately seen, and seen it be successful, Rylai's into Frozen Heart Swain, where you're just completely a problem. You're just a big beefcake in the middle of fights. It's just, once again, very, very reliant on that ultimate cooldown being available.
I would expect a Frozen Heart out of the Wukong or the Pantheon or the Swain. Frozen Heart against VG's composition is high value this game.
Yes.
And I do think that this game is going to be decided very early on. I think it's going to be a jungle battle. I don't think we're going to see much action in the lanes outside of it. I think Udyr is going to set the precedent very early.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be difficult for Wukong to kind of go toe to toe with this Udyr in the early game. It's gonna be, Udyr is very, very good at just kind of dueling people early on, and just even if he gets into a bad situation, he can just run away and stay alive. But that level 6 point becomes very, very scary onto any of these champions, really. If you just clone, use the invisibility, get on Gwen, you can knock her up, and then that W doesn't really mean much because you're sticking to her pretty good. You get to that bot lane, and once again, there's another crowd control to try and make sure that Zeri can't get away and that Yuumi is stuck, not able to attach. There's options here that Ottawa do have in the early game, but I think it is gonna have to be played correctly because there's a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong. Pantheon doesn't scale very well, not gonna be super great in the late game, and he's basically going to be relying on that E to be any kind of a front line for the team. The Wukong Cyclone is going to be very influential in terms of using that ultimate correctly. The Mordekaiser as well. Take that important person out of the fight and make sure that your team has a shot in the 4v4.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this match because I think University of Ottawa has a lot of room to show their prowess as a team. There's a lot of ways they can show how good they are with this composition. It's a lot of skill expression available in the execution, not just the mechanics of this composition, because it's a harder composition to play than what VG has. VG has a very straightforward. They're playing for the Udyr to be ahead and to be initiating fights into Yone and Gwen setup, and they both have options to carry. On multiple champions, but I think University of Toronto early game, they have a lot of potential to do around Mordekaiser Ultimate, around Wukong and Pantheon roaming.
It's University of Ottawa, excuse me. But no.
Sorry.
I just know there's going to be some angry Canadians coming at you if you mess that up. But regardless, I do agree with you in terms of like the actual kind of tactics of VGA's composition is a lot more straightforward. It is just kind of run people down and beat the crap out of them. But I would say that Ottawa has the more straightforward in terms of that kind of mechanical and tactical style there. In terms of it, if it is front to back, it is very easy to play. It is more just about, can they prepare and create those opportunities to make it a front to back. And VGA on the other side, they need to create those opportunities to make sure it is not front to back. Make sure that it is those really weird skirmish, Yone coming in from across the wall, Gwen TPing in and just running through the back line there. There's gotta be some actual communication from VGA if these fights get big, so that they can make sure they're getting onto the Aphelios while also not taking so much damage in the process.
Yeah, that's going to be really important. I mean, ideal fights from both sides is University of Toronto is going to have basically a 3-person front line, and then probably Wukong Pantheon playing in the flanks. And VGA also wants Yone and Gwen in the flanks. Zeri and Yuumi are going to...
they're going to do Zeri Yuumi things.
Yeah, exactly. They're just going to be running around at a speed which is too fast. Even though Zeri did get nerfed with that ultimate movement speed patch. So.
Yeah. And there are breakpoints that need to be hit by VGA too. Right, yeah, Zeri, Udyr, they have to hit their item breakpoints in order to really do what they do best. Yone
especially, I feel.
Yone especially as well. He's got to be able to get that crit. He's got to especially get that lifesteal as soon as possible so that it can stay in lane longer. If that early lane goes very slow and they are in lane for a long time, and Swain can keep Yone from going back without losing a lot of minions, there's a strong opportunity for Swain to get a solid lead in that lane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we compare that to University of Ottawa, then mean, they don't have as many significant breakpoints because
Right.
Swain doesn't actually really need a completed item quite yet to be a significant team fight contributor. Pantheon doesn't need an item. Wukong does need one. Mordekaiser debatably needs one. So that's another thing we have to look at is University of Toronto is probably going to try to make some moves on one item. Ottawa.
Absolutely here.
University of Ottawa. I'm
Yeah,
gonna mess that up all night.
you've messed it up a couple of times where I have not mentioned it because I'm trying to be nice to you.
I know. The problem is that I'm used to casting against Toronto because I play University of Toronto all the time, so it's tough for me to switch up Canadian schools. I think they're all the same.
Yeah, well, we are finally into the game here, as we do see a little bit of level 1 stacking from OG.
Yeah, I like this adaptation by Oni Akuma. Going with the unsealed spellbook Swain. So I did mention that I wanted to see the ghost. They don't go for the ghost, but spellbook can get them the ghost.
And they do have a chance here.
They will run into the
Pantheon. Oh. Smart adaptation to just take that E and get it. Well, I'll be real. I don't know if it is Q or E start anymore on Gwen. I don't play enough Gwen. But even still, just taking the E, get over the wall. Make sure that Pantheon does not get the point click.
And just looking at everything else across the board, only thing out of ordinary is that we have Exhaust on the Glen, which isn't quite out of ordinary. It's still seen quite a decent amount in this top lane where you want to be in the isolated 1v1. Both Mordekaiser and Gwen like the 1v1, so taking the Exhaust is a bit expected on the Gwen. Now, it's not your go-to, but you're not that surprised to see it. Let's be honest. Besides that,
I think that it has a really strong use against Mordekaiser specifically because you get pulled into that realm and then you can negate some of the stats that he is taking from you and basically make it a noodle fight for a while.
Yeah, Exhaust is probably the best 1v1 summoner spell. It's just not as utility as Ignite. And already we have an early bot lane trade. Pantheon starting at the W. We got a great trade onto the Zeri. That's another thing. Zeri early game just loses out to Aphelios. Aphelios is a pretty strong early game ADC after his all slew of buffs and changes when the champion came out. He used to be all weak. Now he's all strong in the early game. Woo.
They gave him lethality. You know, that when you give a champion lethality, it's like, what was the bug? If you give a mouse a cookie, like same thing with lethality in League of Legends champs. They're gonna take over the world.
Yeah, already we do have both junglers are clearing down now. The Udyr will be clearing a bit faster than the Wukong. Wukong did already decide to skip his Krug, so Udyr will be on track to be one camp ahead. But they also did see the Udyr on his Raptors due to that ward, and Swain already in trouble in the middle lane. Number 2, Ginger getting the first blood, not even needing to use Flash, and Oni Akuma's first to horn the Flash on the Swain. The Corrupting Pots were not enough healing, and just caught out too far up in the lane. That Yone E and all the dashes that champion has, it's so hard to get away and so hard to space as a champion like Swain who's got no dashes, and the self-peel is just hard to use. It's conditional.
It very much is, and that's so unfortunate. We're also seeing an early gank here, Sprinkler.
Well, good exhaust out from the Zeri. The Pantheon W is already nullified, and flashes from both ADCs, but the Aphelios HP is so much lower. Now we do have a 3v3 Wukong coming down here, using the W, trying to stay on the Zeri, but Zeri's just barely cutting away. Get the Yumi for the help. The Wukong flashes under her, does get the final auto attack, but the Udyr almost does the Pantheon. No. Pantheon's gonna miss the Q. He's stuck in the minion wave, not able to get in range for an auto attack, and I'm not sure how they're staying around here. Yumi is out of mana, so they will need to reset.
They're baiting because if Pantheon goes on to the Udyr there, she pops off, gives him the shield, and gets the mana, and it becomes an easy fight. A nice comeback here, though, from Oni Akuma in the mid lane there, making sure to take advantage of that. This is one of the annoying things with Swain, is you can use that W to just stop backs consistently and just waste a little bit of extra time, and sometimes that really messes up your back timers. So number 2 Ginger having to deal with that a little bit, and the TP is going to be burned after a little unfortunate trade.
Yeah, we do see the Yone in terms of summoner spells dropping the ego and taking the teleport. Not something we see often out of Yone players as they go for that ignite very often. And the big thing I wanna highlight is that both jungles have their somewhat skirmishing items. There's a chain longsword for Wukong and the bomb center for Udyr, in which Udyr will win that 1v1 every single time because that bomb center is so strong against Wukong. And now we see a gank towards top lane. Perfect timing too. Mordekaiser is 5 and not going to hit 6 quite yet. This is going to be a kill. Exhaust does come out. Not sure they needed it, but we'll confirm the kill now. And Yone found Wukong in his own jungle. We have a 2v2 in bot lane here. The Pantheon is hurt very badly early on in this fight, and the PTA damage is coming in heavy. That's a lot of PTA damage from both Aphelios and Pantheon. They are caught in the wave a little bit, so Yumi's getting some damage back, but it's not going to be anywhere near lethal.
That's the power of Pantheon there. You just jump on people and boom, you get them. A flash for flash trade in the top lane as well. But going back to that... Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad.
It's so good. Yumi's trying to stop the wave here, but it's going to take a lot of damage.
A little greedy.
Turning. Still had the self heal, so is safe after all. And actually messes up the tempo of University of Ottawa's bot lane now. They wanted to back there, but they're not going to be allowed to since the Zarya is back, and they can't actually walk up to the wave.
I think they're going to back regardless. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're going to bait. They're going to expect the back. They have the Wukong for the counter gank, even if Udyr shows up. This could be a nice little turnaround.
And
Just
VJ's
depends on...
bot lane doesn't really want to fight this. VJ's bot lane wants to get these waves in because they are already down 10 CS on this area here.
They have 3 people here. They want to expect for the back, and yeah, there you go.
Yep. That's going to be a double kill for this side of University of Ottawa. Very unfortunate for VGA's bot lane, as they are behind a significant amount of gold now. Now, Aphelios has not gotten any of the kills yet. They're split in between Pantheon and Wukong, but still, the farm lead is going to be significant in this lane.
Absolutely.
Number 2 Ginger got another kill in the Swain while that was all happening, by the way.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice. That is really unfortunate. Oh my god. Well, I mean, overall though, this bot lane, I think Yone is going to be an issue that needs to be dealt with. And I think maybe some ganks from Sprinkler and uOttawa could possibly turn things around and make things a little easier. But right now, yeah, don't walk up on that Yone. He is a scary boy.
There's a Yone. And this is going to be a 2v1. Pantheon is here, but that Swain should be dead in any moment. Now the Triumph does not come through because of that Ignite.
Oh.
But the Udyr is here to help, and that's going to be a double kill. Going towards VGA, 1 kill on Udyr, 1 kill on Yone. Yone now 4-0-1 is probably going to have those mythic components now on that back. And so far ahead, just compared to the counterpart. Now the gold was 300 gold right before that happened. Now with that double kill, it's exploded into a much more significant gold lead. We have a 1.4k gold lead now. And
yeah.
A lot of that gold for University of Ottawa is going to be towards that bottom side.
Yeah,
and where the advantage would be early.
Yeah, and now we see number 2 Ginger making the case for number 1 Ginger after this game. Definitely looking to be very strong in this mid game here, and we kind of talked about how it needed to be a solid front to back team fight for Ottawa, and they're not going to get that when Yone's fed. It's going to be very difficult. We can see that the Swain is going for that Rylai's rush and trying to go for those slows, and I think that's really what you need to do right now. I want to see that get through and see how that affects things, because like we said, the Frozen Heart going to be very crucial for these team fights and could turn things around. It's just very unfortunate how some of these fights are going.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think VGA is absolutely gleeful with how this game state is. You know, Udyr is ahead, Gwen is ahead by a kill. I mean, CS is going to be equalized in a moment, so that gold is not really in the equation. And University of Ottawa still has a win condition here, though. Gwen and Mordekaiser are going for a bit of a trade. Gwen is down a level now, and number 2 Ginger going in on the Swain again. Swain does have flash if needed, but number 2 Ginger not even having enough damage to threaten the kill quite yet. We do see a bit of a contest around Herald here. We do have Udyr is up here against the Pantheon Wukong, so probably not going to fight it unless they want to opt into a 3v2, because they should know the Swain's walked up. It's going to be a 4 versus 3 now. Gwen ult already coming out, and the Mordekaiser's the target. Not able to get ultimate off, but Wukong ult hits 2. Pantheon is 1 HP. Will get that taken by number 2 Ginger, but number 2 Ginger will fall to the Swain ultimate. Udyr and Gwen versus the Wukong, and that's going to be it. Exhaust does come down a little bit late. It might have still been on cooldown. I don't think it was, but it came down a little bit late onto that.
It would have been close. It would have been very close there. Yeah, I think honestly, there's just not a world OG can get away with being up there, and that is unfortunately the price you're going to pay with this mid lane being as fed as it is. Now, granted, they did get a shutdown. Number 2 Ginger did fall, and that's going to be incredibly important here as we do take a look at the gold here. 4,800 to 3,200. That is 1,400 gold difference. That's half an item for that Yone right out the bat. You're seeing similar numbers in the jungle and the top lane here. It's all about that Aphelios, and then Aphelios is still down about like 1,300 gold compared to mid. So this is going to be a game that OG need to just slow down the bleeding and try to get to this late game team fight phase. If they can do that, they might have an opportunity. But right now, VGA have the run of the map.
Yeah, OG is very scared now. You know, Aphelios is opting into the... trying to get as much gold as possible, opting into the call buy. Always a good buy, though. I got it on his first back, so he's had it for quite a bit now. And you have already first items coming out for VGA. Oh, first mythics. We have Gwen mythic, we have Udyr mythic. Yone still a little bit delayed, and not quite sure how. Maybe the Swain's not worth as much gold, and he's killed him 4 times now. Who would have thought? But Gwen is going to be taking this
reset.
Mordekaiser.
You got to kill, reset. The gold is back to 300. So sometimes tactics are hard to understand.
Right now I'm concerned about this top lane matchup. Besides the middle lane,
Agreed.
Number 2 Ginger is destroying, but this Gwen's going to be really rolling into the Mordekaiser right now without that Riftmaker. Now we're going to see a little bit of a roam down by Udyr here with the Yuumi, a combination we were expecting to see a lot more this game, as that champion combination is very disgusting, and the Zeri will get rooted, cleanses the Aphelios turret, and flashes the Pantheon W. Now Udyr coming behind the turret with a Yuumi. Yuumi coming out. Zeri is here for the damage, but I'm not sure they have it. Exhaust does come down onto the Aphelios, but Yone is here too. He E's and he ults behind the turret, but Aphelios just barely survives. Yone, very low HP, doesn't have the shield though either. Oh my god. Close. Number 2 Ginger gets that kill with a flash WQ auto. And that's going to be another double kill for the Yone. 7-1 and 3 for number 2 Ginger on the middle. Yone here, and that's plates for the Zeri now. The bot lane for VGA getting bailed out by the jungle and middle lane, so very good to see that for VGA. Now we see a bit of a fight here in the top lane. There's a Mordekaiser ult coming down. Gwen ult will come down inside, and Gwen has just so much damage. This Mordekaiser will not be able to survive, but Mordekaiser flashes the 3rd needlework. Wukong is now here to fight the Gwen, and he should have the damage. The Gwen W misses, but Wukong gets the kill. Gwen not able to heal through the Wukong damage, does get the Mordekaiser kill inside the Mordekaiser ultimate. But that's a 1-for-1. Shutdown goes to Wukong and gets a sizable amount. Now, going back to bot lane, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that was a revolving door of champions coming through down bot lane. We got the engage on Zeri. We're like, all right, cool, that's great. Then Udyr and Yuumi come in from behind the tower, which is already a little bit weird, and they're able to make that work. Granted, Aphelios Pantheon, they make that work out, and then the straw that broke the camel's back was that Yone flying in over the wall, getting the kill on that Pantheon, and then also getting Aphelios afterwards in a very close duel. We got another fight coming up here, as I think Udyr really wants to dive this again.
This turret is oh so low. Zeri is going to be here to push in the wave if they want to opt into it, but I think some missing pings on is going to maybe force them off. But okay, opting into the blue buff, always understandable, should be given to taken by the Udyr. Greedy jungle is right.
Yeah, I mean, look, Yuumi has a passive that gives her mana. Udyr doesn't have that.
I already talked about the point. And Gwen's going to find this Wukong here. This is not a 1v1 which Wukong will walk.
No, this is a W over the wall to get away. The W from Swain not going to hit.
I was just going to W over this Baron and be safe. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's on cooldown.
Cooldown.
We do have the rallies completed for your Swain, by the way. He's going Mandate. Is that part of your build?
That is part of your build, yeah. It is a very low income mid lane build.
Coming down as he goes with not paying attention.
He's just dead. He's just dead.
No words in the river. That's going to happen to you.
Don't build that up like it's something important. He's just a dead boy. And speaking of,
Yone is looking like a dead boy too. Good zoning is out from the Swain.
Oh, the E!
He's going to catch Yone on the E back, but not enough damage on Yone, and gets killed by the Pantheon. Yone's so close to the kill, but just not having enough damage. Another auto, another
No.
Q would have killed. Udyr is now in here looking for the kill, but the Pantheon W should save him, though. Oh, it does not get any autos off, and Udyr's got to run out for his life now.
Yeah, he's
That
got Sunfire.
I was so sad by the Yone.
Yeah, Udyr has Sunfire. He is A-okay. He will be fine. But yeah, that is so unfortunate for the Yone there. Getting pulled back. A really nice Swain to grab the Yone, pull that back out. Very, very good. Something that we haven't been able to see too much of from the Swain because this matchup's not gone so well. And I'm very glad we've been able to see it now and then see a little bit of those skills coming through. This Udyr, though, with the Sunfire, very, very tanky. As we do check gold once again, it's still rough. 1,000 gold down in the jungle, 1,300 top, another
1,600 mid.
Golly gee, yeah, it is rougher and rougher. 1,000 gold down from 80 carry to the enemy mid laner for Aphelios to Yone respectively. This is something OG are just gonna try and keep at. They're gonna keep themselves as static as possible in terms of this gold differential and see what they can do. Once the Swain does get that Imperial Mandate down, that will be a nice bonus to that damage in the fights. Wukong hanging around here looking to make sure that Udyr does not show up.
You see the lanes up here, so we do have Gwen matching. Gwen doing a lot of damage to the video son. Bad, or just now Gwen's going to be in this 1v3. Not a favorite to win it at all. Does drop the exhaust and almost gets the kill. That was a scary amount of damage on Gwen. The champion has been changed, so getting a little bit more damage on the ultimate. And number 2 Ginger fighting this Mordekaiser does not get the kill. Not enough time on the E to get the kill. Did not want to use the ultimate either. But Udyr coming in for the should get it as the Mordekaiser ultimate just came off cooldown. And the Yuumi 1 HP is going to escape. Udyr still stuck in the
Ginger?
Ginger just trying to kill the turret. Not sure what's happening here. That turret is very hot now. And this Mordekaiser should be pulling the wave, but the Yuumi... Oh, TP coming down. That turret's going to die, though.
Yeah. No, they'll get the TP.
Now, the question is, do they let it go through? Because now they have the exhaust on the Yuumi. So that Swain ult's very much nullified. No, that's exhaust on the Yone. I apologize.
Oh, yeah, Akuma trying to get the kill, not going to get it.
I completely forgot we had exhaust on the Swain. Pantheon does come out. Pantheon ult does come in, and
ooh, he does get it.
The crit on the low HP always surprises me. It's not something which you would expect, but you know, under 15% HP, that's doing double damage. And now, look, we got to take a step back and look at the game. It's 18-9. Gold difference is not that significant. They're up a turret for VG. They got 2 Dragon lead already. Next Dragon's up in 20 seconds. Position is in favor of OG. OG's not in as bad of a spot as we really think. I think Aphelios...
yes.
Aphelios on 2 items, he's not that far from him. Wukong can hold his own in team fights, especially because this Yone hasn't finished Infinity Edge yet. And we talked about those breakpoints. Yone is not at his breakpoint yet. Yuumi also does have Sonia's, and he's just dead.
He's not on the map anymore either. Yeah, can't be on the breakpoint if you're dead. Well, actually, no, he is on the breakpoint because he's dead, but now it's not very useful. Regardless, OG, a nice pick there, just kind of catching VGA sleeping. I feel like the last couple of minutes, they've pushed their lead way too far and took trades when they really shouldn't be taking trades. They should be just winning out on the map. OG's capitalized on that, evened out some of this gold lead, and now they're able to go toe-to-toe, and they're now also just catching VG, not paying attention. It's a little concerning to see Yone just face check into that bush when they know that the dragon is up.
Yeah, VG does have this composition which ought to be split up a lot. Yuumi ult is coming through on top of the Udyr. Gwen is here too, gets the kill into the Pantheon. TP.
Swain time.
But Swain is taking so much damage from the Gwen. Mordekaiser is ulting the Gwen. This should be a winning 1v1 for the Mordekaiser, but he's missing everything. The Gwen damage is insane. This is the second Q of the Zonias. Gwen gets out of the ultimate, and that's going to be another kill for the side of VGA. Great job by Gwen, dodging everything inside the Mordekaiser ultimate. And Mordekaiser 0-5 now is so sad. Wukong is going to face check into this bush. Pops the ultimate, looking for the Zeri kill. Not quite going to find it. yet, but
Aphelios is here.
Walking in has a lot of damage. Wukong flashing in on the Zeri, but doesn't have the damage. Yumi also with the shielding and the healing. It's going to save that Zeri from death, and Aphelios is just a sad boy right now.
Very sad.
Yeah, and
Udyr could just stand there and take it.
VGA was fumbling for the last couple of minutes, but that top play there has really just put them in control now. 4,000 gold up. 4-0-11 on their Udyr. The Zeri's going to be in a good position now. And this Yumi has Leandries. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah. I can't say that I am actually familiar with this one.
I can't say either.
I see the some reasoning behind it. It does give your poke a lot more of an effect, and it also, because Leandries is going to burn, it's going to apply that anti-heal, so that will make sure Swain is going to struggle a little bit, but it doesn't seem great.
We have a 1v1 here, the Aphelios and the Udyr. I wonder who wins. It's almost definitely not going to be the Aphelios, though.
That's not a 1v1.
We have a TP in too. That's the Swain TPing in, but Aphelios is already dead. Now we just have a straight up 2v2. Gwen is in the middle of the ultimate. Gwen has so much damage. The Swain absolutely pops. Pantheon has no cooldowns left. Wukong and Mordekaiser are both here, but Mordekaiser does have that ultimate, not using it quite yet. Wukong using both ultimates and almost dying to the Gwen because the Gwen exhaust. Now Mordekaiser ultimate.
There's the Mortal.
On the Udyr. Udyr's 1 HP, going to die from almost anything. Otto does get it. Now Zeri is here looking for the Wukong kill. We'll get the Wukong now. It's a 1v1 between Mordekaiser and Zeri Yumi. The exhaust does come down, and Zeri should just kite out this Mordekaiser. Not much he can do against the Zeri Yumi. Just too much trying to drop the wards.
You just put him in a cage. Like, what are you doing? That's so unfortunate there for the Mordekaiser. Yeah, all this time you see number 2 Ginger actually going in.
Missing his combo on the Aphelios, but hits the Swain. It dies, gets the Swain kill, but does die to the Swain due to the turret shots. Misses the Aphelios, but accidentally hits the Swain and gets the Swain kill.
Define accidentally, because if it succeeds, is it really an accident? You can just claim that it was not.
If his intent was the Aphelios, I still call it an accident.
Do we know that the intent was the Aphelios?
I'm seeing that the Swain wasn't in vision. I would say yes.
Yeah, but okay, maybe he just has the back timers memorized, was prepared, knew that Swain was going to be there. I'm just saying.
Maybe his Swain walking in that exact spot where Yone would hit him. You know, maybe I'm just ignorant.
Yeah, I feel like you're not giving these players the credit they deserve.
No, I'm definitely not. I should reassess at this point. And we do have, let's take a look at items here. We have Wukong on two items, very important 2 items for him. Death Dance and Sunder. Now, still going to be shredded apart by this Gwen shooting. Oh my god, this Gwen has so much damage. On 2 items, going towards this Rabadon's now. Yone on 2 items, 2.5, going towards that Death Stance. Zeri, once they get Infinity Edge, is going to be a 1v5 or 2v5 possibility with this Yumi. And I'm still... number 2 Ginger is going to catch Sprinkler. And this is not a 1v1 which Sprinkler is going to win it. Now, the Swain is right above him. Number 2 Ginger misses the Yone ultimate and is probably going to go back here. But Sprinkler potentially does get the Yumi and runs away. Zeri's starting to do a lot of damage with that W as well. And now they're going to pressure this Baron a little bit. The TP is available for both top laners. This is Gwen, I think, is going to actually just do this Cloud Dragon solo. No one is there to stop her. And number 2 Ginger is going to go over this wall. Swain flash ults over. Wukong exhausted, ulting in, and Pantheon just doesn't have enough damage to be significant. And Udyr full HP running down the Phyllis. They are diving this turret. Yeah.
Good night, sweet prince.
Mordekaiser's here, though.
Wait, Mordekaiser, hold up.
From Aphelios. Udyr's still tanking. Udyr will die in Mordekaiser ultimate. So Mordekaiser does get the kill, steals it from his ADC, but Aphelios survived a surprising amount of time under that turret. And if Aphelios didn't have a red gun, then probably that Udyr doesn't die and give away the shutdown of Mordekaiser. Now, looking at this game state, probably a matter of time until VG wins this game. OG, like we said before, doesn't really have the damage from behind, and we just saw that in that last fight. Pantheon and Swain just don't have a lot of damage. Now Gwen is already looking at a 1v3. One will die though.
This is
started that at half HP and low man.
Guys. Okay. I'm getting a little a little upset at VG just trading these kills here, and their shutdowns. Like, they need to recognize that they're ahead and respect that they have shutdowns. More gold is going to be given to OG if they die, and they can't be just giving those away. They can't be trading for the 1-for-1 when they don't have to. There was no reason there that Gwen had to go in and get that kill. It feels like it's very much greed, and it's hurting them in the long run because they just don't have the capability. Oh no!
It has the combo with the Yumi, but not enough time on the E, and will fly back would have almost definitely been the kill, but just not enough time on the Yone E. And going back to your point, I think that VG understands that, but they have about 8,000 gold lead, and I think OG at this current at 25 minutes would need like 10,000 gold right now and have a gold lead to be winning. So
I'm agreeing with you, but all it takes is just a couple of times like that. Like, there is so many times this game that shutdowns have been given over that did not need to be given over, and that adds up over time, right? Like you say, like, they need like 10,000 gold, but like you give 500 gold here, you give 600 gold here, suddenly it's 9,000, and that adds up. Like, they're playing overly aggressive and they're not gaining anything out of it. Like, there's no reason they have to go for it. They're just playing really aggro and paying the price for it.
Well, no, they gotta go for it. It's going in the montage. Let's be honest. It's going in the YouTube montage.
My bad. I'm not thinking of the clicks. That's my fault entirely.
It's the click through. It's the Twitter impressions, and we have a bit of a standoff. Is they know that Udyr is here, but they don't know if anyone else is. And the only walking by, Sweeper will dodge. The Sweeper will find the ward which Udyr was standing on. Can't not coming in, going to go for the bot lane, I'm assuming. Yeah, going to collapse on the Gwen, so VG will turn on the Baron, very smart by them. Gwen is going to will kill the Mordekaiser. Does she get another in the Zonias right now? Great timing for that. But nope, not enough cooldowns. Exhaust comes down a little bit late. Baron traded back, so VG's not really complaining. You know, it's not a shutdown this time, though. There was no shutdown on the Gwen.
That's true. No shutdown, we're making improvements bit by bit. But no shutdown gained. And but they still do. OG, they lose the Baron, and now it's going to be an even harder push here, because the only thing that has been really keeping them alive in this game has been the fact that they can wave clear pretty effectively with the Aphelios in this way, and Mordekaiser also clears pretty well if he could get that Q up. Now, and you look at VG, they've got a Zeri, not a great tower taker unless she gets alone with it. Gwen melee range, Yone melee range. Number 2 Ginger very far in.
Against 4 members, and I think that was the Mordekaiser ult channeled, but was canceled. Number 2 Ginger going in with the ultimate, does find the kill on the Swain, but it's stuck on a turret. Great stopwatch time here, and the TP is going to come in from the rest of his team. Does eat out over the wall, and I can't tell who's in the ultimate, but Gwen is in the fight now, and this is the whole team. This is a 5v5 under the turret, and this is just going to be the game for VGA, as there's just not enough damage on Ottawa. The Yumi does die, but it's a 1-for-5. That's going to be the game for VGA, as they just had too much damage for Ottawa, and Ottawa just didn't really have an answer for the damage.
Yeah, the mid lane snowballed out of control, the top lane snowballed out of control, and VGA able to use that extremely well to pull off the win here. And that is a very unfortunate loss there if you are an Ottawa fan, because that bot lane was starting to go so very well. It looked like they had the potential to get there. They just kept getting caught out. They kept getting pushed on, and the stats just started getting more and more that OG could not handle.
Yeah, it was looking really good for the Ottawa bot lane. And then the Udyr and the Yumi on the Udyr and the Yone all showed up at the same time, and it sort of just started to go back in the other direction. You know, they'd really good 3v3s early in the game, where they were winning it, and the CS advantage was built up by the Aphelios, but just as soon as Yone started to really move around the map, that lead went away, and the top lane, as soon as Gwen got that mythic, like 4 minutes before Mordekaiser got his, that was the snowball needed to really put Gwen in the driver's seat of that game. I think Gwen was such a big factor in that game.
Yeah, and just the fact that the Swain got so far behind, the Mordekaiser got so far behind, Aphelios alone was not going to be able to burn through that Udyr, especially considering how much pressure was going to be on him thanks to that Yone and Gwen. It was a really unfortunate loss. I'm hoping that we're going to see a little bit more I don't even know what needs to change, because draft wise, I didn't hate the draft. I think the big thing was just that there were in lane misplays that were really taken advantage of by VG, and those need to shore up a little bit more safety, a little bit more kind of recognizing like, all right, these guys are good. We need to play back a little bit. We need to be a little bit safer and make sure that we could get to that late game where we will be really strong.
I a little bit. I'm disparting from your idea a little bit. I think the draft does need to improve a little bit more for you to think a little bit easier and probably more active roles. Game Wukong, not the best gank here. I think mid could have opted in for Rumi if they want to play for that bot lane. If you opt into the Pantheon, you got to really play into that lane and make the Pantheon Pantheon the best at making self useful if he's not running around the map. And with Aphelios, you don't quite want him running around the map. So I'm looking to see how that adaptation is.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that we see maybe just a tank in the top lane. I think that would have been great. That would have been giving a little bit more time for Aphelios. I think the bot lane, I see your point with the Pantheon. I think they played that great until everything else started going poorly. When the Yone started visiting, when they kept ganking bot lane, because that was the only lane that they weren't hard winning alone, it becomes a lot harder for that lane to make anything happen, because Pantheon can't play aggressive at that point. I think really the Wukong point, I think, is a good one, that you just want to maybe look for something that has a little bit more proactivity in the early game, that can be more of a threat, and see what that maybe gets you. But even still, I think the biggest thing would just be a tank in that top lane, and then maybe taking away some of those power pressure picks that they did have to go up against in that mid lane.
Yeah, I agree with all those points. I'm really happy that we're gonna have another game of this. We're gonna get to see the adaptation from OG, and I think I'm gonna be on a little bit of a that happens. Yeah, let's go on a break. We'll see what they come up with draft in game 2. So see you guys very soon. Hello, welcome back to Versus Gaming. I'm basting. Sorry, I have to go this way.
You got to run these intros by me, dude. I'm not like prepared for you to be like, all right, it's your turn to talk. Like, you're like, I'm basting. Then
it's a lot easier when it's in person, but in virtual, it's a lot harder. I'm joined by Thousand.
Yeah, you can't look at me over the camera. Like, you're already looking at me. I see you on screen right now. This is not like. We're in the draft.
Let's talk about draft. We have a Pantheon ban. We have an uOttawa ban. We have adaptation from last game. The big thing for me is that Ahri is open, and
yes,
Ahri. We just talked about it off stream actually, as Ahri being still up there in mid priority picks. Gangplank banned, and we have Wukong taking B1. You know, it's a lot of normal stuff we see. Wukong another priority. Wukong, uOttawa probably the 2 priority junglers right now.
Yep.
There's some other
Diana also good.
Yep.
Yeah,
fast squaring, good against Wukong in that scenario, and also out skirmishes him.
Also out skirmishes him and is pretty comparable in terms of team fight, because that ultimate can be so very good in a bunched up team fight. It just kind of depends on who gets ahead first, right? So it's more important on that. Just touching on that point that you made, like we talked a good bit about that mid lane matchup, and it feels like there's got to be something really safe that OG could play in that mid lane, and it concerns me a lot because we talked about how Swain is that kind of safe pick right now. They're playing to be a utility bot in the mid lane and just kind of do enough damage and be enough of a threat that you are going to have to be taken care of, and they weren't able to manage that last game. So I feel like they either need to take the Yone away or make sure that they are. Yeah. There's the run back bot lane.
Yeah, run back bot lane. Besides the Pantheon, which is taken away.
Silas, there we go.
Yeah, we're happy. Not the best Silas ultimates right now, though. But Yuumi and Wukong aren't. I think Zeri's pretty bad, but Yuumi and Wukong aren't too bad for Silas.
Yeah, I don't know what the AP scaling is on Yuumi ult. That if you're building like full AP, like how much damage it's gonna do. But yeah, Wukong.
Diana here though. I think Diana's new build too, where you're going to Master's Tooth into Sunfire.
Yep,
is really obnoxious. Just super.
I was surprised we didn't see that on the Yone, because Yone has also been doing that. Hey, if you're playing solo queue right now, just build a tank item. Yeah, they're good. They're very good right now.
Yone, Blade of the Rune King, Sunfire. Disgusting.
I hate it. I hate it a lot, but it's really good.
We do have Gwen ban out. Great adaptation. What we wanted to see is because that Gwen was another champion who's changed on this patch, with given a lot of damage and a little bit less on the E, but they wanted to make her more spellcaster than auto attacker. And besides that, same second phase bans, Victor and Kale taken out. So with that. DG banning a Azir Victor, probably assuming Silas top here, which isn't that far of a belief.
It's possible, yeah. I think we've
seen Silas top, I think, a lot more recently. Well,
there's the Jace, yeah. So it is actually going to be the Silas mid, and then, well, I guess they could swap that either way. Really, kind of depends on what they want to do. But generally, we're going to see the Silas in the mid lane, the Jace in the top lane. I think the Silas is great. It gives much more early game pressure that they did not have against the Yone. We'll see if the Yone gets picked up. I don't think we'll probably see it because I feel like Silas can really style on that. Speaking of, though, Poppy, a really solid pick into what is currently on the draft right now. Jace Q getting blocked. Oh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. I'm gonna get to it. Okay. The Jace Q gotta get blocked. The Silas E gotta get blocked. The Diana E gonna get blocked. Like, a lot of things can be stopped here. And Poppy gonna be paired up, it seems like, with the Vladimir. Yep. You got baited. This is why we don't talk about hovers.
I know. I wanted that Akali. This is a good Akali game, but then again, Akali into Silas is a terrible matchup for Akali.
Correct. Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous matchup. And with this draft, BG is gonna go opt into that Poppy jungle. I think it was not the best into the Diana, but stops the dash, which is the important part. Stops the Diana engage, stops the Silas engage, and we have Silas support. We have Silas support in this game.
Huh. All right, so I don't have anything analytical to bring to this game.
I actually, I play for Virtue Gaming Unity, and our support is a huge Silas support fan. Now he hasn't played it much, but this is an itchy cat special, as we like to call it. Silas support, it actually is split into Yuumi because you can EWE pretty quickly and stop that Yuumi from reattaching, and when she does hop off. And it trades well into the Zeri because if you do get that Yuumi ultimate, it's a good lockdown. And if you land the Silas E, it's another good lockdown. It heals well too because it has the option to get Poppy out, to get Wukong out, to get Yuumi out. So it has disengage options on that regard too. And it's a pretty decent pick overall. Now the Poppy is made so effective by the Yasuo pick here.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if Diana can flash.
Now, I do kind of want to bring up there's a little bit one thing that makes me a little bit sad is Silas has the opportunity to steal the Vladimir ult, which would be incredible if they had anybody else that did significant magic damage other than the Diana. That, like, if they had some kind of really strong AP mid, if they had like a Victor or something, that Vlad ult would be massive. But obviously Victor was banned away. This is VGA kind of going for a very similar composition, just a little bit less power in that mid lane. There, Poppy can skirmish pretty solidly there and does a deceptive amount of damage, I would say, while also being very beefy. Vladimir, he's going to take time to get up, and this is finally something we're going to see Ottawa have that mid lane pressure, have that priority, and we're going to hopefully see the power that OG can have with a little bit of an early game presence.
Yeah, okay, so it has been confirmed that it is Silas support, but it also, very interestingly, it hits Poppy top and Wukong jungle. As a top laner myself, I would prefer the Wukong into the Jace, but I respect the Poppy take if that's what the more.
I would rather have the Poppy into the Jace.
I'm taking Wukong all day.
So here's why I'm taking the Poppy. You have no kill threat if you're Jace in that matchup, because as Jace has one dash and it is his Q, and that is his way to actually confirm kills, to jump in on you. Poppy just pushes W every time, he never gets in, can't do most of his combo to actually try and get a kill. All he can do is poke, and if Poppy goes Doran's shield, gets that Bomby Cinder pretty quickly, you're never going to be pushed out of lane by the Jace anymore. So I like the Poppy take here. You got a point?
Okay, but Monkey.
I'm not surprised. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not surprised.
Okay. Let's talk about Wukong. Wukong, Jace has one dash. It's got to go in. Wukong has two dashes. One to go into target, and the other one is a multi-directional. Now, Wukong passive is why he's so good against Jace. Jace early game doesn't do good against armor stack. Guess what Wukong has? Armor stack. Guess what Jace also can't do well? Get away from people. Guess what Wukong does? Stick well. So in that regard, there is a good debate for Wukong. The problem is that he does get poked out a little bit more than Poppy does because the base stats are a little bit lower. The health regen has gotten hit recently. So you have to be fighting actively in the Wukong Jace lane for Wukong to really be winning it. So it does go to Poppy.
It is a whoever wins that hard matchup. right?
Yeah.
Because if the Wukong gets poked out, he's just going to keep getting poked out. He's never going to have a chance to go in. If Jace keeps getting jumped on, he's never going to have the opportunity to walk up in lane. Regardless, I want to talk a little bit more about this bot lane because I want to see what exactly is going to happen here with this Silas here. You mentioned, like, okay, you've got the opportunity to just EWE onto the Yuumi pretty quickly, but that's still behind minions. If you're behind minions as the Yuumi, you're never going to get hit. Aphelios has to have that purple gun to get something there. It man, I'm concerned because I just don't know how realistic it is for this bot lane to go well, especially if Wukong puts a decent amount of attention there. I'm also just not as familiar with how good just Silas base damage is, because to me he strikes me as a champ that needs to get that level 9 in order to really put his damage out.
Silas does need the level 9, and at that point it depends what ability you're maxing. Because W needs a bit more AP scale and ability haste stacking, but Q has a significant amount of base damage at level 9. So
Is it an Emax?
it could also be an Emax. He has, I think, 300 level 9.
That's pretty solid. That's actually pretty solid. Yeah.
It's 100% AP scaling too, but you have to hit it. It's the hardest to hit ability. By far in the champion. And another thing I want to point out this game, Vladimir late game has an absolute dream against OG's composite. There's no
100%.
stopping Vladimir. Yeah, if Vladimir makes it a 3-4 items, this game is going to be real tough for OG to win. That's Vladimir Yuumi against Aphelios, Purple Gun, point and click CC. That's all. No other point and click CC for the side of OG. I mean,
Yeah. Diana's technically like it is technically not, but essentially is point and click CC, but also
Diana
Vlad can just
JC, Silasy, but that's conditional CC. Jace is technically point and click, but it's not reliable.
If you're that close to Vladimir, you're probably in a bad spot. Yeah. But
look, VG has a damage problem and OG has a playing from behind.
Yes. That is big. VG does not have any damage until like 2 items.
Oh, yeah.
Like none of those champions. Poppy is probably your highest damage champion until we hit 2 items on the mid and bot laner. And that's scary when you've got a Yasuo, a Jace, a Silas support, a Diana. Like these are all going to hit 1 item power spikes and be really strong. And VG needs to recognize that and play around that fact. If they try and contest dragons or Rift Heralds before they get those items, that's really not going to be a fun time.
Now, if Vladimir or Wukong, I think those two, if one of those two gets ahead early, I think this is going to be very tough for uOttawa. Because those two champions, I think, have the highest potential to really have like a 1v2 fight or turn a 2v3. Those can definitely be the strongest champions into OG's composition in the earlier stages of the game, because just how the champions operate. Vladimir can nuke multiple people at the same time, and Wukong is such a good skirmisher that if they're ahead and Wukong's fighting 2 AD champions or weak Diana and Jace, then it's going to be tough for OG from behind to play. So that's something I'm very concerned about for the side of OG.
Absolutely. There's a lot of potential in OG's composition. It's just got to be realized. And if that potential is not realized, that gives all the time in the world for BG's composition to scale and just kind of outstat once again in that mid to late game. But I believe we are loading in soon. We will be in the game very shortly, guys. I'm gonna put my money on BG here. I think after last game, I'm feeling them. I think they did great. I think the Poppy is going to be more of a threat than people realize, because she always is more of a threat than people realize. And I'll be interested to see how the Wukong is going to work in this matchup here.
Here we go. We are getting underway in game. We have the Silas support, Electrocute. We're gonna have to check in later to see what he's maxing. At level 5, level 4, we'll see what he's maxing. And besides that, I don't see anything, too weird. We got a Ghost on the Vladimir, pretty normal. We got all normal coming out from both sides. Yeah, absolutely normality. Vladimir, gonna start with the Dark Seal. Surprised he's not starting with the call in this lane, but you know, it's respectable.
Dark Seal refillable. The ever standing. I'm gonna scale into late game pickup for the early game. As double door and shield here in that top lane. I'm surprised to see the Jace going for the door and shield here. I guess expecting a little bit more kind of just fighting back and forth with this Poppy, and Poppy actually going for the refillable or for the corrupting pot there.
I would imagine has the runes. That would be going with that time warp tonic and wanting to trade a little bit more because well they can trade onto the Jace easily. Maybe a little bit of level 1 shenanigans. Sao sustaining this bush. Aphelios can pull the wave a bit, and Zerayumi, another game where this bot lane priority is going to go in the way of OG, because the Aphelios versus Zeri matchup is going to be Aphelios' favorite early.
Yeah, I would expect level 2 is where we're going to see a bit more action. Aphelios level 1, he shoots.
Yep,
that's it.
He
shoots. He does not score until level 2.
The trade already coming out in the middle lane in the favor of OG. Now, number 2, Ginger. Well, in the Vladimir early game, we got to talk about it. It's a liability for the team. Champion doesn't provide a lot at all. You got to hit 6 to be somewhat utility, in which case you give a 10% damage boost in an area. But besides that, this champion's really hard to gank. Not a lot of CC step. Only has the slow. So Oni Akuma and uOttawa 1 are going to have a lot of chances to roam around the map at level 6 and really execute this Diana Yasuo combo well. Now, bot lane is getting pushed to Loki Doki, still level 1, so this could crash, and I think OG is going to opt into a reset here.
Yeah, a quick reset in that early game, a nice build up of the wave, and like you said, that Diana Yasuo, that level 6 point is going to be very crucial for OG because they can get a lot of pressure on that Vladimir if they want to go for it. It's just kind of like that is their moment. Sprinkler already up here, level 2.
Potentially going to use sums here as Ignite has to flash out, but number 2 Ginger should die to the Ignite Silas, and there we go. Saving the W a bit late. Didn't use it to dodge the Silas. Maybe we missed a usage of it. And now this Wukong stuck in a little bit of a weird position. Silas is coming down and is fighting this Diana 1v1 while level down for level 4 versus level 3. Uses W to
win.
Level 4 uses the flash. Wukong following up with the Ezer, flashing in, looking for the kill. Does not get the kill. Their range just not enough. Yasuo's here now. It is a 3v3, but the double buffs are in favor of VGA. VGA will trade 1 for 1, and now it's the Zeri and Yumi.
The Brutes.
The Aphelios Silas. It is the bot lane 2v2, and it should be in favor of the Aphelios Silas. But now Vladimir is back. Absolute mess of a fight. Vladimir getting a kill here. And that's through the 3 kills, but 500 gold ahead in OG's favor.
Yeah, OG.
Jungle farm and I think first blood.
Yeah, that OG technically come out ahead in that, but man, it feels rough because look at where the gold is allocated. 2 of those kills are on the Silas now, and only 1 on the Aphelios, who just is gonna still need some time to really get off the ground. It's not the person who's gonna drive your composition right now. You want to get them on the Yasuo right now, on the Diana right now. And Yasuo only getting 3 assists, and then after Vlad dies, comes back, gets the return kill and the double buffs. That's a huge turnaround there. That blue and that red buff is gonna give so much healing to this Vladimir and keep him in lane a lot more than he would be otherwise.
Yeah, this is looking good from OG already. Now, another thing we did not talk about was that when Aphelios got back to lane, there was a significant wave for him. So now he's up a large margin, and these waves are about equal here. There's one crashing, but Aphelios is still going to be up about a full wave.
Yeah, Aphelios, once again, the shining, bright source of income in this game right now. OG looking to play around that, and we're still waiting on level 6s, so that is kind of where things will turn around and that mid lane starts to pop off more.
And, I mean, number 2 Ginger is going to be a little bit safer here. He's got double buffs, so he has that regen available. That 10 ability haste from the blue buff is going to be massive for him, too. Don't worry. But no, the red buff will help him sustain it. It helps him trade better, and the auto text was very underrated on a champion like Vladimir, who wants to stick when he doesn't really have good natural stick this early without him. And top lane has been so quiet. It's a normal top lane. Well, let's not lie about it.
Yeah, no, it's that's a lane nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't think either jungler even wants to go up there really.
Yeah, I mean, it's really on Poppy to make things happen because Jace does just want to farm. So if Poppy doesn't want to fight, then nothing's going to happen. Because Jace shouldn't be winning that effort. We do have level 6s coming through on the mid lane now. We do need Diana 6, though. And she is still camps ahead of Wukong, but only 2 camps. I thought I would have expected to be a lot more because Diana's course feels a lot faster.
Oh, no.
It's very looking to fight the Philios. The Q
Wukong
already came out from the Philios. The Wukong is here, but just a little bit later than what is needed. And I don't think Yumi's going to be making it out. We'll get the W back just in time.
Good.
No CC to slow down and no damage to really catch up to the Yumi. So that's only 1 kill, and Zeri just got really far ahead. Didn't have the vision. Thought Wukong would have been closer, but Diana just got there before.
Yeah, a nice setup there too, using that purple gun well from Aphelios and then getting everybody else to come around. Wukong, unfortunately, not able to make things happen until Zeri's already dead, and now Oni in trouble.
We see the Vladimir ult in action.
Ignite.
Oh, the last tick does not kill. Just under the amount of damage needed. Good look by the side of VGA, but unfortunately no kill comes out of it. Okay, Kai, we're going to be caught by that Yumi Q, slowed by a bit, and it's still level 5, importantly. This Diana's going to have to hit level 6 very soon, or else it's going to be tough to come back. Yeah, she dies. And they got to make something happen with this Diana Yasuo now at this point. It's going to be 8 minutes in, and nothing really happened. They still have the gold lead, but this Vladimir's not behind.
Well, look at where the gold is allocated right now. Aphelios is a little ahead. Yasuo is 200 gold ahead of Vlad, which is not where you want Yasuo to be. The Diana so very far behind. Jace also very far behind, or not very far, but like is behind. All of this gold is on the Silas. That is not where you want that money at.
Yeah, and it does look like we have a little bit of technical issues with a little bit of connection. So pardon us on that regard. But yeah, this Wukong up in gold is the biggest thing. Just getting those 2 kills, such a massive thing. And it's a jungle matchup where Wukong is a lot slower of a farmer than Diana. Now, if Diana doesn't have items, then it's a different conversation. And a good trade coming in already for number 2 Ginger. Wukong is here with the ultimate, and that should be a kill for the side of VG. But let's see if he can turn it with the ult and the exhaust. Nope, does not quite have the damage. So that's going to be another kill for the favor of VGA as they're closing in on this gold lead. Only 100 now. Number 2 Ginger pushing up a little bit, and that's the Flash Diana ultimate. No W available for the Vladimir. 1 more auto to kill. Okay, Kawa will find the kill. No Wukong ultimate as he is here to stop it, but Diana may get the kill. The Q whilst walking away gets the kill. Great job out of her. And now the Silas was spotted mid. Zeri's going to go for the kill on the Philios. Trading a flash for the movement speed, and not enough damage though.
Yeah. They don't have the ability to run down Aphelios just yet. And ultimately, that is a major win for Diana. We talked about how they had to get something going there, and they finally did. Because I do believe I'm back. Can I get some confirmation?
A bit. You know, you're more alive than before, but not.
That's good.
100% there. No, it's unfortunate when we have bad ISP. We can't help it. But Diana looking to come back onto this game is very important now. She's up. The biggest thing is the farm. Now she's got a Rift Herald. She's going to get a lot more of this gold when she does drop that Rift Herald. And the big question mark I have in this game is where's Sprinkler been? He was here in some of the early fights, but he's been roaming around, has a low proximity to his lane, still equal in level, but I would have expected the Silas to be a little bit more active towards this level 6 mark, where he's been level 6 for a little bit now, and he's got to be doing something around the map. He doesn't have the ultimate stolen right now. We're just watching this mid matchup right now as number 2 Ginger is in a really good spot compared to Oni Akuma's. Oni Akuma doesn't have a lead, 0-2 and 4, and equal in CS. So great play by the Wukong and the Yumi working together to just keep this Vladimir in the game.
Yeah, great stuff overall. I apologize, I'm in the process of trying to see if I can fix this
Looking
issue.
for a dive. Wukong is flashing under the turret, but Jace has a good pushback. Ignite comes down, and the Yuumi will get the kill. Poppy comes in for a little bit of that damage help, but Diana gonna pop the Herald on the bottom side of the turret. That turret, half HP, going to die from that Herald charge. 100% cannot stop that from happening. Now, you gotta look at what's gonna happen on the other side, because it doesn't look like a lot. They're not pushing towards that second turret. The Rift Herald will charge for that second turret, and Sprinkler looking like he wanted to get the turret damage, but just went a little bit too early. Now, number 2 Ginger is going to be in danger of this Diana Yasuo combo. Holding the Diana, waiting for that Vladimir W comes out, does come out now, and there's that combination coming down. Did get hit by the Yasuo Q in the beginning, but now Wukong and Yuumi are here to fight. Wukong does not have that available. The W had to be used to get out of it, and that's very unfortunate for the Wukong. Just if he had that ultimate, it would have been a winning fight, but had to use it top lane to get that kill. Jace is now here too, and he looks almost invisible going through his E. That's funny. But this is gone so poorly for VGA. All of a sudden, they've now lost 2 turrets in bot lane. They just lost their mid laner to this Diana Yasuo combo. Their Wukong is so low HP here. Fight, and I'm not sure about what that decision was, as now there's another double kill in favor of OG. Poppy gets a turret top, but that doesn't mean anything right now.
I'm gonna guess that was lag. Like, that didn't feel real.
It really didn't feel real. I don't want it to be real. I want to wake up right now.
Yeah, well, great stuff from the mid lane there. Onigakuma pairing up with that Diana very nicely and getting that kill. And now Sprinkler, oh no, when your support can fight the mid laner, that's a little bit concerning. Yeah. We will see Vlad eventually win that one. Yeah, everybody going through the E has a little bit of funkiness going on.
Yep. This is...
I don't think that's intended.
No. The Silas is... I don't know. He's been quiet, I think. No, he's got Everfrost now. He can really be a threat in these fights, but...
He's at four kills. What do you mean he's quiet?
Oh, but he hasn't done much since the beginning of the game. Come on. We've seen so much action with the Diana. Come on. That was at the very beginning. You know, 5 minutes was 8 minutes ago. That's a long time.
5 minutes was 8 minutes ago, and that's can we like get that on like just like a tombstone there, like, because that is a quote to remember. And
we do see a siege at top lane. We do have plates available for the next 19 seconds, so still going to be gold coming back through. Yuumi ult coming down on this Jace. Wukong ult, the helicopter coming in. That's a very dead Jace. I don't think he wanted to move there. He just stopped moving. Not what you could do, but this Vladimir taking so much damage from the Aphelios and the Silas combo, looking to just survive for his life, but the Vladimir ult so close to coming through, but did not get the healing. And now BJ on the other side looking for the spot turret. Poppy's tanking it. It won't get the turret without the minions. It takes so much longer, but they eventually do get it. It won't get equalized. This turret score for OG's really looking good. They've taken both turrets on bot lane. It's going to be up 3 turrets to 2 and a 5 almost 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah, they've finally taken this lead. There you go.
We also Diana combo.
Goodbye.
Yep, that's a dead Zeri. Almost. Yasuo almost died. Diana
should be okay.
Stopwatch is the best item in the game. And she will walk out. Yasuo drops aggro at a perfect time. Well done by OG, and that's their 4th tower at 14 minutes.
Yeah, this
really
is
accelerating this.
Aggression incarnate here from OG, and there's not a lot that can stop that. Ooh.
Good counter Wukong ultimate out from the Silas as Wukong gets caught under the turret, but not quite enough damage to follow up.
Why are we ulting that?
Ultimate is that's comical. Purple Aphelios ultimate. At this
Purple
stage
okay, yeah, maybe like for that purpose, definitely weird. But I love Purple Aphelios.
Oh yeah, I mean in general it's great, but just in that usage, it's comical.
Yeah, I will overall say here. Oh,
sneaky Wukong going for the Jace. Ignite.
He wants it.
Yuumi. And Yuumi almost dies there. Jace not forced to use any summons because the flash was not up yet, and still hunting for this Jace kill. Please leave Wukong. He's gone. He's gone into the countryside. He has fled. And now Diana, look, I was talking about the jungle matchup. Diana's in the proper place now, up 46
Yes.
CS. Sorry, 44. Well, actually, was now, but
It-
was up
it-
44 CS.
It was very concerning for a while, and then we finally saw the pop-off moments with the couple of Diana ults to really turn the tides in this mid lane and abuse the weakness that this Vladimir has and that we talked about. Yasuo has not been able to get any of those kills, which sucks because you'd really like to have a kill or two on Yasuo at this point, but having it on Diana is great, not only because you're gonna have that jungle pressure, that jungle attention that can go anywhere. You're not really confined to a certain lane, but also you're gonna get the power of that team fight ultimate there. Yasuo, when you get a Yasuo fed, it is much more localized to what Yasuo can do in a one-on-one scenario or against one other person. The Diana ult getting more and more powerful means so much for these team fights, and when you pair that up now, we kind of talked a little bit about the Vlad ult being stolen. Now I think it's a great thing because you Vlad ult into a Diana ult, boom, that's gonna blow people away.
Yeah, Silas getting that extra damage is going to be really impactful because it's a lot of damage. Diana and Yasuo ults are not something to scoff at all, especially once Yasuo gets this next item. A Phantom Dance or a Death Stance. Figure that one out later. As we do see a bit of a fight, we have the helicopter coming in, flashing in, Yuumi on top of them. And the exhaust went down onto the wrong Wukong. Now Vladimir is falling in, but Diana dies already. A little bit of miscommunication. Diana Yasuo ult was not executed well at all. Felix has to flash out, is going to fall to the Zeri and the Vladimir combo. And that's just a terrible fight out of OG as they didn't get the Diana Yasuo ult combo off, and now they're all dead. Well, Jace will escape, but the rest of the team is dead. That's going to be Dragon for VGA. This is going to be mid-inner turret. Both of them are objective bounties, too.
Yeah, that's so much of the team fight that didn't go off for OG. And now we're hitting the point. We see Vladimir has an item finished. Zeri has an item finished. We're getting to that 2-item, 3-item point where these champions start to become problems. The double Divine Sunderer as well. Going to be very useful to help keep these bruisers in the fight as long as possible. VG are starting to scale a little bit. OG, that lack of pressure there, that loss of power can really hurt them in the long term. When you let up on the gas pedal there on a late game composition, that can completely change a game. So we're gonna have to see if OG can kind of right the wheel, get themselves back on track, or if we're gonna be seeing them continue to falter as VGA start to scale up.
And we also see a more traditional Diana build. Poppy is facing check into 3 of them, but it should be fine for the most part. It is Poppy after all. But just trying to dodge the skill shots will not get out, and flashing in on the Yasuo.
Oh no!
Wukong ult will back.
Oh my god, that damage!
Diana, but the Yasuo ult's already used. Zeri has to 1v all this, and they have the damage, but not the HP. Does kill the Silas, but that's a 1 for 4.
That is
not at all what you want for VGA.
Look, hey, they righted the wheel. They took it right back to him and said, "All right, no, we're gonna do the composition right this time." Okay,
he got 200 yeared. He died to the across his screen, Aphelios green gun to purple gun, and now this is OG getting inhibited here. And that it looked so good for VGA because they got such a great fight in mid, and then they just committed to that for little reason. I mean, VGA is looking good. In a couple of minutes, they'll be fine. But right now,
that couple of minutes, though.
Yeah, that's the big question. The Zeri, just in that few seconds of Zeri free hitting, she tear through OG. Now, that won't happen again unless she's positioned poorly like that. TP coming in to save their Aphelios as he is forced to Gale Force away, so that's 2 big cooldowns, Gale Force and Jace TP. Now, I don't think OG cares much about the TP because they haven't really played for the split too much. They don't need to play for the split too much. Jace has already been winning most of this, and he is opting into this Hex... Chemtech? Hex Sword?
The Chempunk sword. Yeah, Chempunk chain sword. That's it. That's it. We got it there.
There we go. Took us a bit. Opting for that second. It's a cheap legendary item, so you get the mythic passive with the 4%. No, it's heal cuts for the Yuumi. Ooh, Poppy walking up to the top lane, a little bit unknowing. Doesn't check the pixel. Not checking any bushes here. And now we have the Baron shift. You know, we have Vladimir in the bottom without TP, and everyone else is near Baron. So I'm not too confident about this. OG is getting such great position here, and this is going to be a team fight. Or maybe just a catch as Wukong is forced to ult away, gets that movement speed, gets the knockup. This Poppy is going to have to juke her way out of this a bit. Wukong ult's trying to stop the engage from ever happening. Vladimir is now rotated out from the bot lane. Also went for the Night Harvester, something which has been very new when it comes to AP Assassins. We've been seeing it in professional play on Vladimir, on Akali, going for the new Night Harvester, because it has been buffed several times in a row now. Now we do see a big engage.
Oh no, that was on the clone.
It was on the clone. The Field Assault does come through. That is the purple gun, and Poppy's in such a good position as Diana can't really get out. Vladimir gets a 3-man ultimate, but not too much follow-up currently. Is still running down this Aphelios, and Aphelios is dead. This is amazing for VGA, as the Diana they also got stuck by the Poppy, and Poppy was just able to beat them down 2 versus 1. This is going to be Baron for VGA, unless Sprinkler and Gumby Power can do a lot, which is going to be tough. It's just a Silas and a Jace, and Silas did take the Wukong ultimate though, but only 2 items to work with. Is going to try to 1v1 number 2 Ginger, but that W will just get him away for freeze. The Zeri looking to 1v1. The Silas is missing the Qs. Does he?
Oh,
one more.
goodbye.
Silas. Goodbye. Ah, sleep tight. This is getting run down by the Wukong. Will get out. Just doesn't want to waste the time on the chase, which is understandable. And this Zeri is massive now. Now Baron may actually get VGA the first significant lead of the game.
Yeah, we see gold lead. Gold lead is exact even right now, and that's important because VGA have a lot more standing gold to grab. Those towers are still available, and they're hitting their scale points now. Zeri on 2 items, 2.5, just actually waiting just a little bit more gold for that Infinity Edge. The Vladimir has the Cosmic Drive, is doing so much work in these fights now, and you saw on that last fight, it was all just, they messed up the engage. They went on to the Wukong clone, and they bit it hard for that. And then everybody scattered. Peak Performance was unfortunately just left alone to die. And now, I'm not sure if OG really have many opportunities left in this game. They've got to close things out very shortly, and because that's going to happen a lot.
Oh my god, that Vladimir poke was insane. And I think it's been 2 back-to-back fights where the Wukong clone has been exhausted. Going for a bit of a disengage on the Poppy, but that's not the best target, as Diana has not gotten a clean ult off quite yet.
Helios down.
Has died. So Yasuo, Diana, Aphelios all died. All the damage is gone for OG. It's just the Silas and the Jace. And this is going to end angle potentially for VGA if they get the waves in order. Yumikyu doing so much damage. Yeah, that's the flash kill by the Wukong. And this bot lane's in perfect spot. Now they still have this Baron buff. Jace getting run down by the Poppy. Not much he can do here. May get out, but it doesn't matter. Look, the super menus are stopping the mid end. There's still going to be significant turrets taken into the bot lane. And OG, another fight, Diana just isn't surviving long enough. Now, we talked about it in draft about how this Nash's 2 Sunfire build on Diana is so good because she can be so tanky. And I agree with that. But we don't have that.
And that's a problem right now because that is affecting their scaling.
Problem now.
They don't have the front line to take these fights because that Diana is not going that more tanky build. There's just no capability to stay alive in fights. It is ult then Zhonya's and hope that Yasuo follows up. They were planning on that. They just rode that wave as long as they could, but that wave has finished and the tide is coming back, and it is coming back all VGA right now because now you got the Zeri, 3 full items. She is off the walls crazy right now and hitting that late game scaling. And Aphelios, yeah, his scaling is also incredibly good. But 1, he's behind on items compared to the Zeri, and 2, there's no front line.
Catch out. Wukong is going for this Jace and just gets the kill. Not much Jace can do against the Yuumi and the Wukong ultimate. Such a great combination coming out from VGA. Great idea in draft to really go for that. And now VGA could look for a push to finish. They could look for, oh, pardon me. They could look for a skirmish here. Or a siege. Now they don't have the best siege, but they have
they have the worst siege, I would say.
Well, let's not underestimate Zeri, but the Silas may just be caught here. Sprinkler.
Ooh no!
2-man Diana Yasuo ultimate, but not a lot of damage, and it's on the two tankiest members of VGA, and this is going to be a full-out fight. VJ
Oh no!
Zeri's going over the wall. The Zeri is so strong in the ultimate, does take out the Aphelios. Silas will fall, and it's only the Yasuo and the Jace who just respawned alive. Now, no waves to actually capitalize on. Poppy's got to push this out. The Diana Yasuo ult was pulled off.
Guys?
Not on the track. Gumby Power going to get kited out and does die. The Vladimir falls eventually to the burn. Yasuo is now back fighting that Poppy. Not a winning 1v1 for him, though. Zeri hitting the Yasuo from out of the turret, and that's so funny watching the Poppy hit on the walls. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And now we see how OG's composition fares into this late game. They went in, they did great. They got onto those members. And you mentioned it was on the tankiest members. They still got the kills. They did a great job on that.
Still died.
Yeah, it was great, but then there was nothing left. Your whole composition was blown, and you had nothing left, and they could just get over the wall with that Zeri E. Yuumi can ride whoever. Vlad was able to just run over, do his job. It was so very difficult now for OG because they just blow everything on those tank members and then got nothing left. So Aphelios just has to try and burst people down really hard alongside his teammates, because if a team fight goes longer than that initial fight, that's a problem.
Yeah, I definitely see your thoughts there, and this Diana Yasuo has to be pulled off on the Yuumi or this area. It has to be, preferably on this area, but if the Yuumi's taken out, then this area is a lot easier to catch. But one of those two has to be dead early in this fight. Number 2 Ginger isn't quite a threat right now, but as soon as that Rabadons comes through, will be a threat. The big thing is that peak performance hasn't been able to really pop off in one of these fights quite yet. He's been swallowed up by a Wukong or Yuumi ultimate, or zoned out by a Poppy. So I'm really looking for this Aphelios to get into one of these fights and be a major factor. I think that's going to be a big turning point. And now we have a dragon fight in 50 seconds where we should see that. Now it is a Cloud Soul, so maybe not like a big fight, because we do have 2 Cloud Soul games in a row, I just noticed. But I'm really hoping we do see this Aphelios, because he's been quiet for most of this game. Jace, also another very quiet member, but in some of these later team fights has been a big cleanup piece. Poppy looking for a little bit of a fight here, not finding anything. He's spacing as if he wants to take this. Now Silas is coming behind. Poppy getting a good trade here already. And here's Sprinkler and Gumby Power versus this Poppy. Okay, Coward coming up from the top side, and it's a 3v1 against the Poppy, but the Poppy is stalling time as his team takes the Baron. Jace almost dies, but nope. The Assault comes through, and that's going to be the kill. Now it's going to be a rush to the Dragon. The 5v4, but VJ just may be too far ahead in gold.
Yeah, I think that's the problem there. Poppy kind of isn't as important for this composition as the rest of those members. She's fine sacking herself.
There's the Wukong ult coming in, and as Aphelios is almost one shot from the Vladimir and the Wukong. Diana dies without using anything, really. Misses the ultimate, and the Zeri's just going to pop off again. Another fight, another Zeri pop off. This champion is so insane in this game right now. Just the Jace left, and that's going to be a dead Jace. Dragon's going to go the way of VGA, and
they got an inhib at the very least.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to have the opportunity to
I don't think Wave gets there in time.
I would agree. I mean, it is Baron minions, however, so there is that possibility. They do move a little bit faster. Somebody should be shepherding that wave in.
Yeah, they're going to look for it. They should be able to get a
depends on Zeri. No, they're not going to risk it. They're just going to go for the double inhib, which I think is... Or no, they can't go for the double inhib. They're just going to back away through that tower there and probably just reset off this. Ultimately, they don't have to rush it, right? Like, they've got the scaling. They're winning, and they're only expected to win harder as the game goes on. So I don't think there's a problem with them just backing off after this point. It just does feel like, oh man, come on, guys, just finish her off.
Yeah, the downside to that is that there's no objective up for 4 minutes, so it's hard to really force a fight for the side of VGA, and so you sort of do give OG another 4 minutes to scale, and compared to the last game, VGA's scaling isn't as outstanding in differential. OG still has some scaling options compared to last game. They still have the Diana Yasuo damage. Aphelios is present in both games, but Jace, Diana Yasuo still can scale well into this game, so they have to be afraid of that still. And I think I like Sprinkler going the Watch Reward Stone. Always a funny item to see.
I love that item.
Yeah.
I love having 2 control wards down on the map at the same time.
I think it's funny because of the stats. It's just
10%
or 12% or whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot of stats. It's a lot of great things. I'm surprised when I don't see support champions go for that as like a third, fourth item. I think it's a really solid item, and I think especially if you're winning, that vision control is so important. Having the ability to get those extra voids down helps so much. Ginger taking good amount of damage here. This might be the go button.
Ooh, there is a good...
Zeri didn't get it.
Diana ultimate, but the Zeri stopwatch just...
Oh, no.
Maybe deaths for the side of OG as VGA is just running them down. Amazing stopwatch on the side of the Zeri. And I know it's the best item in the game. And that's going to be the game for VGA, as they do have the super minions of the bot lane. The best item in the game stops the Diana ultimate, who finally caught up to the Zeri, just not able to target her. In a beautiful game 2 out of VGA. A little bit longer than we would have liked, I think. But still a clean game out of them.
I mean, I think it was great overall because it's a late game comp.
Yeah.
When you're the late game comp, you're fine with letting the game continue, especially when you're just kind of winning and just going to win harder as things go on. There was no world in which that composition, especially with that not tank Diana, was going to be threatening in the late game, and that's a big issue.
Yeah, I think the Diana build was a little bit of a question, and some of the execution in the middle of the game was just not the best out of OG. Look, they had a lead after getting those 2 bottom turrets, but they fumbled the bag after that.
Yes, and we kind of talked a little bit about that in the middle of the game. It was they had a really strong early to mid game and had that pressure on. The gas pedal was down. As soon as one fight happened, they were able to turn it back around once, but then it kept happening. They kept losing out. They had botched engages with the Diana either missing, hitting a clone, hitting onto a person that stopwatches. It's hard to deal with, but when that starts to happen, there's no way for that composition to do it because it's all based on that Diana Yasuo combo.
And we'll have more chances to talk about that. But right now we have an interviewee with us. We have the middle laner from VGA, number 2 Ginger. So welcome, number 2 Ginger. How do you feel?
Hey, how's it going? I feel pretty happy we won the series. I don't think we're super happy with our overall performance, but happy to take the W.
Yeah. Let's talk about that game 1. You were dominant compared to your laner in that game. What helped you win that 1v1? Why were you so far ahead just based off of the laning?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of peaking that game. It was I mean, it's just a really awful matchup for Swain, and I don't know how I killed Wukong like from 100% HP to none. I think you guys didn't see it, but like I just 1v2'd in their jungle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how mad are you that we didn't see that?
I was pretty upset. I was convinced that was the best play of my career, to be honest. But like once that happens, the game is like the whole team is basically checked out of the game because we know the game's already over.
Yeah, we could definitely see that where you guys were playing a little bit fast and loose in that first game with some of those shutdowns. Gave them away a little bit too willingly, but you knew what you had in the bag. That composition was so far ahead and a lot better in the later game with the Gwen and the Yone. Now
Yeah.
going into that Vladimir game, tell us about what were you thinking in the draft when you saw this Silas?
Well, to be honest, we've scrimmed these guys before, and we've also studied their previous games, and we know their support just plays Mimi stuff. That's why we banned Silas game 1 because we knew that's the way he plays, like Silas, Pantheon, Viego support. That's like his main 3. So we knew it was support like immediately. We knew where it was going.
I would have lost my mind if we got Viego support.
Yeah, that would have been an insane game for us to cast.
I mean,
it seems easy to play against.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But I mean, what were you guys thinking as that game started kind of going south? Because you guys were pretty far behind for a while. Were you chilling? Were you fine? Were you okay with it? Or were you guys kind of like feeling that panic a little bit?
We were just kind of chilling, honestly. No one really cared. We're all like really confident that we were just like the better team and better individual players, and they were like on a very big timer to accelerate the game and to finish it. Once the game hit 2, 3 items for us, like it didn't matter how far ahead they were. Their comp was just really inferior to ours, I guess. And I think that kind of showed once we got like one good team fight. It was just kind of destruction.
Yeah, I think you had a little bit of misplays with some of those tower dives mid game. Didn't quite go your way, you know. The Wukong Yumi was a great combo, but sometimes misgauge your damage and how tanky you were. But yeah, as soon as you got those items, you guys were really solid. Zeri on 3 items was unstoppable. Ran over the game, ran the lobby at that point. So being confident, yeah, it makes sense for you guys. They didn't really execute Diana Yasuo to perfection, not even that confidently. So makes sense. You guys were in driver's seat most of the game, despite the gold lead being behind.
I mean, this definitely wasn't our this wasn't our best showing by far. We have looked a lot better. I think everyone was kind of low energy today. Comps were pretty weak. Um, and we're coming off a big like energy of just like trying to win VTS. So we're a bit tired, but we have a nice break before our next match. So we're gonna get back in the swing of things.
Yeah, you guys sweeping VTS just the other day too. Getting that finals, getting that win, victorious under your belt, you know, moving on to this next tournament, already winning your first playoff match, you know. One tournament after another. The Grim Reaper of teams, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and I think for the Thousand Eyes, you have any more questions for number 2 Ginger?
Oh, that is it for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for stopping in and talking to us. It's been great talking to you. Great seeing you play. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome. Now, I think. Do you have anything else to add? Oh yeah.
This team looks good. I mean, yeah, like I mean, like let's be real. They weren't on their form, and I think we saw that a little bit. But man, the fundamentals that we saw today, really solid stuff. And man, when you can just win solo that hard on Yone as a champion, that I mean, look, what do you do against that?
Yeah, and look, it's 2 spectacular games to watch, especially if you're a VG fan. And I think with that, that's going to wrap up our coverage for tonight. So I've been Robbie Bobby Basting
That was nice.
and gaming, winning a 2-0, moving on to the next round of UML playoffs. And everyone else at home, have a good night.